So we have a Flexgate computer to fix. Let's see here, show you what's going on. Like pretty much every turns on, open, 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 and off. So let's go ahead and fix that, shall we? I'm going to be using our Flexgate kit that we make here. It has to do with a jig that helps hold everything into place, as well as a pre-prepared flex cable. And what this flex cable does is, here we go. It's prepared on one side, obviously, right? This is the top of it. This is where you will be putting your solder, is on this side. But as most people know, that leaves a gap between it and the bottom that a lot of people run jumpers to or lines or something. So what we've done is we've actually taken off a portion of the back as well. And you can see the copper traces all exposed there. Kind of hard to see. There we go. Good contrast. So it has a little copper exposed on all of them. With a little bit of heat, the copper, the plastic, nylon, whatever the coating is, kind of backs off a little bit more. Exposing just a smidgen more of it. What this does is it makes it so you can pre-tin the cable a little bit. I normally don't. What I'll do is I'll just get the two sides on, then you can run an iron over the top of it and the two when they are getting nice and hot. Since you have exposure underneath of the lines copper, it's copper sitting on copper, and just like an FPC connector on a board, it wicks in and under, as well as you have your little, bit over top of it to help give it, it's not really much of a structural connection. That being said, let's do this. Where's my desk camera? Nope. Yes, desk camera. So, with our solution, we've designed this cable to be a couple millimeters longer, about 3 millimeters longer than the OEM cable. It is an OEM cable, pretty much the cables you can buy anywhere for a couple of dollars. But at the moment, we are polishing them by hand, for lack of better words, to give them the right shape for you to be able to solder on if you wanted to buy them directly from us. So it's more of a pull out a fresh cable that's ready to go, slap it on there, and you have to prepare your MacBook's cable a little bit, then slap it on there. And on to the next. The idea is that this is just going to take 15 minutes for a user to do, and by a user, I mean a technician, a user of our kit. And this has some little angry spots in the battery. Never like seeing this. Those are no good, and I believe this one had some desiccant in it. Something I see happen a lot is our favorite little desiccant bags that help dry stuff out are left inside of the bag. Like when somebody buys a brand new laptop bag. And because of that, a month or 2 months or 3 months later, it will break open, and then those will start to shatter and get into your, headphone jack hole and into your air vents and speaker holes and back vent over the battery, and just that sandwiching. There's not a lot of clearance between the metal and the battery. Those pieces of desiccant will get on there and with pushing on it, poke holes in your battery. No good. So what is Flexgate for those that are not necessarily aware? We have had 1 or 2 failures of the camera, but I'm going to show you first the camera side of the cable. And this long or wide cable here is the data cable for the screen image. And this little cable right here is the flex cable for the camera. When you open it, It's pulled really tight, but it's still a little rounded, you can see. Now, as a contrast to this side, what we're probably going to see is a big little crack in it. It's not going to have any rounded feature. Yeah, and there it is, right there. Get my microscope, focus. How does that look on the stream? Okay. This portion right here is cracked. And that is what happens when you open it up too much. Well, the little metal conductors in it don't touch anymore, hence causing your backlight to drop out. So, let's take some screws out. What screws do I need to take after this one? It's been a while. And get my pentalobe 1, get my T3 and T5? I don't think it's pentalobe 1 technically, is it? It's a pentalobe 2. Perfect. And you know, before you do any kind of work like this, disconnect your battery. Let's do that now. Last thing you need is to drop a screw under your client's motherboard during the process of this, and well, you're going to be cutting wires. Yeah, disconnect the battery. See if I can turn it off first. No, come on. We're going to pull the power button down. Trackpad does not react anymore. Okay. There we go. Battery disconnected. There are so many of these little penelope screws. So I've kind of adopted a do bare minimum disassembly for this repair, which means that in theory you can get more of these repairs done in a more timely manner. Which, if you're a very busy shop, would be a great thing. If you're not so busy shop, well, the quality is the more important thing in that case, isn't it? Well, the better feature, I would say. You are a T3? I thought I grabbed my T3. I did not grab the... Oh, there it is. T3. So well done, dude. T3. I think I have to take these side covers off. Maybe not. Now, if I take one extra part off, not going to be heartbroken. Okay, so we have all the little screws in. We do need to unplug the Wi-Fi antenna. We're going to unscrew that antenna. Back to the T3. We're pretty much just going to pull T-con board away from the top case. These two screws I do not need to take off, but I like to take them off. Just so I have a little bit more flexibility with my LVDS cable. Is that what we call it still? I don't think we do we? Well, with my screen data connection cable. Screws! Okay, so our screws are free. Which means we have access here, but we do need to move this out of the way. Sir? No, nothing holding it down. It is a pressure fit. It's hard to do facing away from me. I'm just kind of getting it close so you can see it. You know what? This version is extremely simple to unweave. The other versions are a little bit more complicated. I'm just going to take it out. Normally I don't, but there we go. Remove my screws. T3. I'm going to loosen that one up and remove this one completely. Put it there. Now we'll get a little bit of a closer view so you can see what I'm doing here. Oh, get some sort of a prying tool, if it be your finger or whatnot. Let that go underneath. And there you go. So that's pretty much the pre-preparation stage. Yeah. And as you can see, right there is the crack. That is Flexgate for anyone following along at home. Wondering what causes it. It's the radius of the bend of this cable, or this flex cable, is too small. The diameter needs to be a larger arc, and instead it's a very small arc when it gets pulled. Now, our solution, what it's doing, we're making a little bit longer, but let's see, it's kind of hard to see here. We are going to make the connection down here. Now, you see how there's no bend in it down there? This portion down here is going to have linear forces on it. So instead of a flex on a solder joint or a wire or whatever method you may be using to connect the two cables together, it's further down the line, and it's not a portion that's actually bending. It's just getting some pulling force on it, if you want to call it that. And for that, well, tape. It's really such a light amount. It's more of a glide than anything because of the antenna bar is holding it down flat. We do like to put some like T7000 on it to really hold down. Oh, we were using Kaplan tape, but now I have some more special, forget the name of the type of tape, for that kind of tape on it. Okay, so disassembled jig. Oh no, I'm not prepared. I don't have my cutting jig. Dang it. Yeah, I need to find my cutting jig. Here we go. Anyone else love to reuse bags? I do. Keep them out of the trash. Ting. I say there we go, and none of these fit. That's pretty great. Should have printed up the full jig. Cutting jig B3, where are you at? Okay, well, that's the right one. I just couldn't fit it on there. So, desk. I'm going to scoot this forward a little bit and hope you can see this. This jig goes right there, and it kind of like locks in place. Has a little wiggle, but it's designed not to really. It goes all the way in. Got a couple of wedges. Then you go ahead and you plop right in there. Perfect. So that shouldn't really be going anywhere at this point. Now let's show you how much longer we're making this cable. No, we will put the cutting jig on it really quick to demonstrate this. And to mark it too. So here is the original flex, and the new flex will go to here. So that's how much longer we're making it. We need to prepare this cable a little bit first though. So with that, with the cutting jig on it, I like to give it a little mark, give it a little score. And with that, you can see where you're going to be preparing it. You can see how that's on the other side of the bend. Now, as I explained last time, this is the part where you could potentially mess up. So if you're not very comfortable doing this to cables, practice, practice, practice. So I like to keep going until they are extra shiny. That's really hard to see in the camera. Okay, how about now? Blurry. Yep, there we go. Okay, we can see that. So you see these feedback traces on the right side, how they're not very shiny? It's because they still have a little adhesive on them. So we keep going. Scrape off all that adhesive. Cool. Blow it off. At this point, I do like to tin them, personally, preference. I tin the feedback lines before cutting. Makes it a little easier, in my opinion. So I'm going to take my micro pencil and I'm going to drop the temperature down to 500 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm going to look for my solder. It's over 500 degrees, and now we're at 500. I need more solder than that. Cool. Maybe this other wide one here too. Okay, there we go. Tinned. Get a little clean. Take our cutting jig. And cut. I really recommend using a new razor blade for this. This one is not a new razor blade. Cool. Oh, a little bit on the right list. There we go. Okay, so got that off. Cable will jump up a little bit on you. That's all right. Go ahead and stick our soldering jig on there. Oh yes, if you have any stragglers, make sure you pick them off. This is because my razor was dull. There we go. I think my little boy is having a fun time playing. Oh, look at that, my self camera's frozen. Second, nope. Well, you're not here to see my face anyways. Zoom out so you can kind of see what I'm doing. Okay. So we are in position. Zoom down. You can see I probably could have gone a little bit further back with my stripping. Fortunately, there is solder under those, so GG easy. I like to get the sides first and then the middle when it comes to soldering. Personal preferences. And I like to hold it down a little while doing it. Super glob. Cool. Now, done. I'm gonna take off some of this solder. It's a little excessive on this side. Cool. A little bit more. Down it, left, left. No, that's okay. I'm not gonna touch it. Go ahead and take off the soldering jig. There we go. We have a connected flex cable. Alcohol, where art thou? Okay, can I reach that? And This camera's working, it's just, you know, not working right on here. Let's see. Selfie camera. Well, that's stuck. Unplug it. Plug it back in. Oh, don't change resolution on me. It changed resolution on me. Oh, well, sorry guys. No, I don't want to see my new iPhone. Or if I change this to the other camera again and back. Hi, okay. Nope, still small. Bummer. Yeah, that's how it's going to be. So I guess there's two things we could do at this point. We could make a sandwich of the tape. Never tried that. That's never really been necessary. Vinyl! This is vinyl tape. That's what it is. Feel free to let me know what you guys think of vinyl tape. Wait, is electrical tape vinyl tape? I can tell you, this is not normal electrical tape. Pop a wedge out. Zoom out, zoomed out all the way. Clicks. Squish that tape down nice and good. And, well, there you go. Oh, I'm happy with that. I love how these turn out. Ooh, yes. Why? Oh, no. Now it's not even using the right. Hotkeys. Hotkey, there we go. Hotkey, hotkey, hotkey. Cool. I do want the desk though, don't I? Oh, yes. Yes, okay, desk. So we're gonna go ahead and weave this back under. Plop that on up. While it's here, let's go ahead and plug it in. Perfect. Now, before we get too far, I believe we need to install a Wi-Fi antenna, don't we? Do it backwards for effects again. I think weave that under. Yes. That's so easy. How come they all can't be like that? Make sure you line that up, give it a good old solid push down. Cool. Uh-huh. Make sure your LCD cable is on top. That would be a tad important. Definitely not the right screwdriver. Now, I'm going to flip it towards me. I'm assuming that if you are watching this video, you are a technician. You might have Flexgate yourself as an issue. I am terribly sorry if you do. It's a pain. I don't think... Well, first thing first, if you are a technician, please have your client ask Apple if their MacBook is still within the recall program. Originally, I believe it was a 4-year program, and I think last year they upped it to a 5-year recall program. Since the date of manufacture or the date of sale, whichever is longer. Yes, so if you bought it 2016 in the year 2018 from an Apple store for whatever reason it may be, that 5 years is from your date of purchase, not the date of manufacture in 2016. So, do check that out. We are a business, and we are in a business to make money. That's why normally people work. But we also want our clients to have the best possible solution and the best service as well. And if that means that they are getting a new screen for free from Apple, it's going to work for another year or 2 or 4 before it has Flexgate, then let them know it's a thing. This client does not have the time to wait for Apple to get the screen. So they wanted us to do it. And here we are. I guess I could be responsible. Before I put up much more together, let's test it. Make sure it is all happy and working. What's a good menu to boot up into that doesn't show client username? Well then, D. Well, I'll just cover up the name. File down D. It might be that 1 or 2 people that's confused on the fact that this is a mechanical failure, not some sort of software failure. It might be specific only if you're logged in. So, go. Let's plug the screen in. Okay. Now, what is something soft I can put on the screen? Yeah, there. Perfect timing. Yes. Okay. Whew. So, open all the way the screen, all the way, flexing it. We're good. We're golden. Haha, no, you don't. Avant-garde, turn it off. So, 2 thumbs up, 2 thumbs up. Flexgate is fixed. Now, we're going to unplug the battery again. Yeah, you're going to unplug the battery? No, we don't need to unplug the battery for these screws. But I'm going to anyways. Because I would feel really stupid killing somebody's laptop. And because I'm recording, that multiplies the risk factor of doing something stupid because you're not paying attention by at least 10-fold. In the communities, I've seen all sorts of things floating around for more than anything, naming schemes. It's driving me crazy when somebody has a broken screen and you can see a crack in the screen. You know what? I want to do a big selfie, but where's my microscope? I thought. Nah, whatever. Okay. You'll see a physical crack in the screen in a picture, and then you'll have a couple of people chime in, Flexgate, Flexgate. No, guys. Physical damage to a screen is not Flexgate. You will see others that have lines on the screen. It's like a block, an inch and a half. I think technically it's a fifth, maybe 1/6 of the screen is missing. It's just like a black line. That is something that kind of refer to as dustgate or gristgate, gritgate. That's because dirt, grit, sand, something with some hardness to it and a little bit of shape will get into the hinge mechanism itself on top of the flex cable that is for the image, not the flex cable for the backlight or camera. And it will poke a hole in that cable. These screws do not want to stick to my screwdriver tonight. It is really, point this out here. This is the cable that has Flexgate. This is the cable that gets holes poked in it. Because grit and dirt will get into the hinge. It will get between that Wi-Fi antenna that I took out and the flex itself. And when you close it, it will rub back and forth and slowly poke a hole in that wire, causing it to lose a channel of communication. And it needs to have all the communication lines in that portion of it, or something goes terribly, terribly wrong and causes you to have a section of your screen without any image on it. It just looks black. That is not Flexgate. It's a completely different there but it is with one of the cables that is flexible. So there's that. There are solutions to it. I haven't played around with it yet. Personally, in my opinion, as long as it's not in one of the bendy bits or the bendy parts, and you remove mass from the cable and your solution, if you're running a jumper, I wouldn't say stick a glob of solder on it, but if you are running a jumper or something like that and putting some sort of conformal coating over it or some sort of a piece of tape over it, make sure that it is the same thickness in the end as the whole cable so you don't have a little spot sticking out, once again rubbing up against the Wi-Fi antenna and the nylon housing to cause who knows what kind of issues in the future. The idea of these screens is that it's pretty much a frictionless surface on both sides of it. And that's why these cables can slide in and out. Some of them even have a spring mechanism, these do, that then has a piece of some sort of plastic material, a blanket I would call it, on top of it that helps move with it instead of letting it slide. So it has a sacrificial, more durable spring-loaded slide on, I think, the bottom of it. And the bottom of it, I mean on top of it to what is on the keyboard side. And as when the grit, dust, or whatever it is gets into that mechanism, it stays there and it just slowly works itself into the cable poking hole and killing that channel of your screen. So if you do repair those, please help us all look good by making sure you do a wonderful job. And we don't have an angry customer that just paid a whole lot of money to have it fixed for it to break again in 2 months. So, battery plug back in. We will stick this back over the battery. How are we doing for a video? We are 43 minutes in. Man, repairs take a lot longer when you're explaining them. Alright, might as well just fix it up completely. I don't know. You know what, we're going to change to this skin. You should know how to close a Mac by now. I just don't want to show my client's ticket. information. That is not the right screw. That goes there. I already did at the beginning though, didn't I? So that's something extra to blur out in post-processing. I was hoping I could get away without post-processing. Oh well, you'll probably see something cut out then near at the beginning where I realized that I lost my cutting jig. I'm walking around looking for it on one of the tables. And I find it. Obviously, because you saw me using it. With this client's MacBook, I did notice the hinge. You know, here, I'll show you exactly what gets into the hinge and causes dust gate, I would say. See all this, like, food, grit, salt, whatever it may be, that is, like, riding right along where it can get into the flex if it just works its way in perfectly through the holes. That is what causes the dust gate. So, I have a black screwdriver. Here you are. Are you clean? Yes, you are. I dig it in the hinge, nice and gentle, and I work it. And with that, I try to get all the big chunks out, so there is a much less chance that they're actually going to have an issue in the future because of dustgate. Q-tip, are you gonna fit? Oh, so turning it off. This thing right here that says MacBook Pro on it, I believe in the older models it was called a clutch cover, is glass. So be careful if you're using metal tools on it. The screen is also a little delicate, so don't drop anything on it. Gonna grab a chunk of Q-tip, put some drips of alcohol on it. Give it a good cleaning like that. Now I'm going to look to see what I actually did because I didn't see any of that. Yeah, okay, there's still a couple of rough spots in there. Cool. Turn it on one more time. Show an Apple logo, maybe? The screen's on, but yeah, okay, Apple logo. There we go. Nice and open. We're happy with that. Okay. Flexgate done. I'm gonna put it on our system, let our client know. I'm gonna clean the keyboard a little bit. Keys feel good. And well, that is how we are doing our Flexgates these days. Sorry about the little messed up camera. Don't know what happened with it. And yeah, well, I hope you enjoyed. And for those just curious watching, welcome to the world of electronic repair. I think it's exciting and fun, and I'm happy to share it with you too. Thank you.